I'm really on the fence about this one, guys. I'm not even using any film. I'm just using my mind. Okay? So I'm going to make something clear. I'm completely down the middle on this fight. I view it as a true 50-50 fight. I think it's a very interesting fight, and I'm a fan of both of these guys. Um, tough one to pick. Tony Harrison has a nice 4.5-inch reach advantage over Tszyu, and he's got 4 inches of height over Tszyu. So he's the bigger man of the two. He's also the more experienced of the two. Now, I was picking Jermell Charlo to beat Tszyu. I think he would have knocked him out fairly easily. This is a tough one to call, man. I think there's things that, Tszyu, they're not that far apart in age, but as I always tell you guys, like Mr. Doc said, it's not the age, it's the mileage. Tony Harrison does have a lot more mileage on his odometer than Tony Harrison does. But he also has a lot more experience than Tszyu does, too. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and Tony did look very good against Sergio Garcia in his last performance. Tszyu came over to the States and got dropped by Terrell Gausha, and Gausha's garbage. Now, given Tszyu did get up, he did pretty much won the majority of the rounds after that, you know. But this is a tough one, man. Tony Harrison's going in a hostile crowd. He just lost his father, by the way. And for those of you who may have not seen the press conference, I'm watching this the night after the Australian. I'm recording this right after I got done watching the press conference in Australia, because the fight's happening in Australia. Tim's got. See, this is a big stepping stone for both of these guys. It's a chance for Tszyu to really prove that he's one of the top 4 or 5 contenders at 154 pounds. And for Tony Harrison, we already know he's one of the top 4, 5, 6 contenders at 154 pounds. He did hand Jermell Charlo his only loss on paper, given I thought Jermell Charlo lost the first Castano fight as well. So in my opinion, Jermell Charlo should have 2 losses, but whatever. He got a gift decision in that Castano fight, in the first one. And to his credit, he came back and beat him. But Tony Harrison got the win over Charlo. And to Tony Harrison's credit a bit further, he was outboxing Charlo the majority of their second fight until he got cocky and he got caught and he got knocked out towards the end of the fight, right? So I think, and given you have a trilogy hanging in the balance with Tony Harrison, should he get past Tszyu. So I do think Tony Harrison's going to be up and motivated for this fight. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting fight. If Tony Harrison had a chin, I would be picking him, no question whatsoever, to win this fight. No question about it. I would be picking him to win. That's the only. He's got 3 things working against him, Tony Harrison. 1, his chin. 2, his conditioning. And 3, he's in Australia. So, I think there's a possibility that Tszyu gets outboxed for the first 6 rounds and wears Tony Harrison down with pressure and knocks him out late in the fight. However, I think there's also a good chance that, given Tony Harrison's reach, he's got the much better jab of the 2 fighters. Much better jab. Given he's got a 4.5-inch reach advantage and he knows how to use it. Tony Harrison does know how to use his advantages. He's got a 4.5-inch reach. He's 4 inches taller. He's got a lot of height and reach over Timmy. All right? In my opinion, they're probably about right around the same ballpark as far as power goes. But I think Tony's going to be landing more frequently, especially early on. And I don't think Tszyu's used to that type of adversity. I think Tony Harrison's going to outbox him with the jab. Early on in this fight, I think he's going to be winning the majority of the early rounds. I think that Tszyu could come back in the second half of the fight if Harrison starts to gas, right, and the pressure starts getting to him. So I do think it's possible that Tony Harrison does get stopped in the second half of this fight. But I got Tony Harrison, man. I got Tony Harrison by knockout. All right? I think he's much more experienced. He's got the better jab. I just think he's an all-around better fighter. And Tszyu is very, very green, man. And given I was picking Jermell Charlo to beat Tszyu too. So, and I don't have a dog in the race. I like both guys. This isn't like Lomachenko, Devin Haney, where I love one and hate the other. You know what I'm saying? I like both of them. May the best man win. But I'm really on the fence about this. I'm going to go with Tony Harrison, though. I'm going to go with my instincts are telling me, man. He's got the 4-inch height, 4.5-inch reach advantage. He's more experienced. He's got the better jab. He might be the harder puncher of the two because we haven't seen Tszyu against that level of competition yet. And Tszyu's very, very green. You know, and from what I just saw at the press conference, Tony Harrison looks very ready to go. He looks very motivated for this fight. And I do believe he is because he knows that there's a rubber match and a trilogy hanging in the balance if he wins this fight. So I think he's going to be very turned up for this fight. I think the experience is going to show. I think the height and reach is going to work to Tony Harrison's advantage. And I got Tony Harrison stopping Tszyu late in the fight, man. But I'm really on the fence about it, bro. I think, you know, like I said, I do think Tszyu's pressure, his toughness and relentlessness could wear down Tony Harrison and get him out of there in the second half of the fight. But I got to go with the more experienced guy, the older guy, the guy with the height and the reach advantage, the guy with the better jab, man. And I think Tony Harrison, you know, Tony Harrison hits harder than Terrell Gausha does. That's all I'm going to tell you. So, but it's a great fight, true 50-50 fight in my eyes. Good fight between top contenders at 154 pounds. But I got Tony Harrison stopping Tszyu late in the fight, man. Won't argue with anybody if they got Tszyu winning. This is just my pick. You're entitled to your own. I like both of them. Like I say, God bless the two of them and let's have a good fight. If you're new to the channel, well, even if you're not new to the channel, hit the like button. And if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, okay? God bless you, and I'll talk to you next time. Salute.